All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Mark Millar's. Well, it's not Mark Millar's. It's just the ambassadors with Mark Millar. It was the writer, I guess. Karl Kerschl from Image Comics, issue number 2. So yeah, we're going to continue with the series. I believe every entry, it, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean the 6 have different artists. I think, because in the first one was Frank Quietly. Now we're going to move on to a more cartoonier artist, and Mark Millar is the writer. I'm gonna talk about the comic and then tell you at the end what I think about it, or maybe in between. Anyway, so this is in India, and it seems that this phone store guy, that's how I call him, has a crush on a girl called Gita, right? And he thinks that he's not worthy because he is a phone store guy, right? And then his friend here, I believe. Maybe he's his just friend, maybe he's a co-worker, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, and so basically he wants to ask her out, and he says, hey, do you think we could just walk past her store one more time if we can catch your eye? And he says, just ask her out. What's the worst that can happen? But then something does happen, because we have, a mall shooting by terrorists, right? And, people dying left and right. And explosions, and they need to get out of here. But then the police comes, and he says, hey, drop your weapons, because his friend says, oh no, they got Gita, right? And he says, you think we're scared to die? These aren't hostages, they're shields. We are all over Delhi, man, in your schools, your hospitals, your hotels, and department stores. Basically, it's just, like a terrorist attack, and that. Terrorist does what terrorists do, and is all weird motivations why they do this, right? So they are mowing down the police, but then I believe Binu, that's his name, says, hey, take me instead, and let her go, right? And she's a nice soul and kind girl. So this guy says, you want to trade places with this girl? And he says, yeah, by God, I really do. And then I believe the anti-terrorist group comes. So he says, okay, Mr. Hero, your call, but try anything clever and we'll kill you both. Do you understand? And he says, yeah, you have my word. And he's just mowing them down. And then he says, well, let's kill the rest, right? Kill the women and the people upstairs. But then they are getting mowed down by the anti-terrorist group. So Gita is, upset. And this police guy says, or anti-terrorist guy says, hey, we need to go to a safe place. And she says, no, you have to call an ambulance. We can't leave him behind. And then we move on to Antarctica. Well, somewhat where. And then we have this girl called Chun Hee. In the last issue, she was in prison, killed herself, and then her mind is getting transferred to this, maybe a younger version of herself, some kind of a copy or a clone. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so she has an assistant. And so Chun Hee says, how many applicants to be ambassadors so far? Oksana, 200 million in the first 4 days. Basically, anyone who's ever seen a superhero movie. This global obsession with costume characters is absolutely fascinating. It just shows what a good job Disney's marketing department has been doing. I agree. I mean, since Disney has been normalizing superheroes now, somewhat, people liking superheroes, even normies. But, well, I can talk about that, but I don't want to, because I have always something to say about Disney and modern Marvel. Anyway, so she says, are there new outstands? So she's listing a couple of people that maybe are subjects because they are do-gooders, right? So she is scanning them because she has gave herself powers. And he says, none of them feel like team players. And then she talks about her own funeral, right? Because she shot herself in prison. And she says, hey, anything from my ex? You mean like a wreath or a card to apologize for all this shit? No, Jing Sun don't send anything, I'm afraid. And she said, yeah, I'm not even sure why I thought he would do that, right? Because he's a sociopath. Well, she says, the best revenge is living well, and it doesn't get much better than this. And she's also the market leader in superhero business, and people want, her technology. And The world might be excited about my big competition, but the last thing our superiors want is ordinary people having power. Now let's come back to that here. Um, we wish more. We could find more good candidates for the ambassador program. So, and then we have Binu Bhatia, I believe, from the Daily Massacre. He says he isn't exceptional by any stance, but he did the right thing. Sometimes that is enough. But you just say that ordinary power people shouldn't have power. So that contradicts here. There's one contradiction here. Anyway, so this guy is all healed up and well in 1 week later, and he says, I'm on the Arctic. Where are the polar bears? Well, he says, well, these are the North Pole and this is the South Pole. Anyway, so he says, hey, where is this? And so they explain this is a microclimate, here. And he says, did I really get shot? Once in the head and twice in the chest, but the surgeons put you in an artificial coma and we fix you up when we give you an upgrade. And he also says that Gita is also fine. He says, can I see my family? And she says, no, right? Because they need to do some tests first. And this Korean girl says, you've been selected to join the Ambassadors Binu, an international rescue squad that represents the best our countries have to offer. I'm turning 6 human beings into superheroes, and you've been chosen as ambassador for India. Why me? Well, anyway, so he explains that he's a good guy, he did some amazing things, he rescued a girl, etc. And he says, isn't this a joke, right? Because I don't feel anything. Well, it seems that there are safety guards here, which I think, yeah, that's totally reasonable, right? Because you won't give people superpowers and then completely go berserk. And so it seems that people can choose their own power through these flying orbs, right? So he says, like what? He says, like gravity control. So she says, stand still, and then we're going to activate them, like authorizing so that he can use it. So, and then he asks a very stupid question, in my opinion. What does gravity control even mean? Dude, do I need to explain what gravity control can do? Well, you can make things lighter, you can make things heavier, and amongst other things, right? It's just, people are not stupid. But, Mark Millar thinks people do. Anyways, he says, hey, try to lift these weights and see what you can do. But then he's concentrating, and then he's making a mistake that, making everybody around him lighter and then heavier, which, I don't know, causes a lot of injuries, I guess. But he just shakes that off and he says, well, I'm sorry, I got it. It's all under control, right? And then he does this. And then he gets a new costume, codename India. So it seems that people from all over the country, those 6, gets their own superhero name from their country. Like, I know, codename USA, codename Japan, codename Netherlands, who knows, right? And but he feels a little bit off, right? And because he also thinks, why India? Why not, have a name with national animals? And so this woman says, hey, we tried all that, and people are, against that, and this is the best outcome, so deal with it, right? So his assignment is that he needs some communication satellites to go into orbit, right? And uses his telekinesis to function. He says, what about air? Don't worry, every ambassador is protected by an electromagnetic aura. How convenient. So they go up in the air, and he's a little bit excited. He says, don't be scared, I'm here with you, she says. Did Gita Ganesh really recommend me? He says, what you did for her was actually very special. Are we absolutely wedded to codename India? So he's going to, try to change it again, and says, would you stop? All right, so stop crying. Anyway, so they are in, I don't know, orbit, I guess, or somewhere there. Now she says, now I want you to jump from here to the ocean. It's been a long way down, but I'm watching the entire time, and your aura should protect you from any of the nasties. So he says, that's insane. Anyway, I can't believe I'm doing this, he says. Maybe you are a superhero and you'll be doing these things all the time. Now, my gripe here is that I'm sorry, but even though if I have superhero powers going up in orbit, with this, I don't know, and it must feel real scary because you have not have these powers for I don't know years, just moments ago, and now you're just grabbing some kind of a pole here and then you go into orbit. I would be fucking terrifying, right? Also, he's just, oh, somebody gave me a pat on the back, and it gives me so much confidence that I don't know, throw myself from orbit into the fucking ocean. Yeah, right. No, that's not gonna happen. Anyway, so all these women praising him that he's a brave lad and everything is happening, and he says, I feel like I'm in a comic book. Man, how can this be happening? I'm just an asshole from the phone store. Not anymore. And yeah, no fear, which is weird. You should be very fearful. Even if you don't have any fear of heights, jumping from the orbit to Earth should be very scary. That's a natural human reaction. That's not something that you can turn off. Anyway, comics. So, I don't know, there's some kind of a teleportation device, and there is another superhero guy called Mr. Mexico, codename Mexico. And so he's here into this Antarctic place here as well. And so it's more like a more introduction. We don't go much into him that he's just likes to smoke weed and all that stuff. So this Smiley guy says, hey, yeah, well, you can stay here. You're all good. But he doesn't know why he's been chosen. Meanwhile, and this very underwhelming shot here. I like this here. I like the perspective, but can we just draw humans and then instead of Photoshop guy doing all the work? So a little bit later, anyway, so he's on the news. He's feeling very flattered and that he's famous, and people. This woman here that tell the to TV that they have a relationship with Mr. India, or codename India, for fame and all that stuff, right? So yeah, he's still not gonna believe it, right? Anyway, and Chun-Hee says that, well, they're gonna reinvent the word celebrity because he's gonna be bigger than ever. And so he says, that's the reason why you need to put up a mask. Otherwise, the consequences will be, severe. So he says, what about my parents? I'm sorry, Benu. Gita Ganesh? He says, actually, we need to talk about Gita. There's something we haven't told you. So it seems that his coma, while being, become a superhero, took a little bit longer. And longer is basically 7 years. So it was 7 years ago that he rescued Gita and saw his parents. So he's all upset, rightfully so. And he says, your family's pretty much all the same except your father's retired and your sister's in Bangalore. But there's big news for Gita Ganesh, and we really hope you're cool with this. Probably not. What? She's married to your friend Jay, and they have a little boy. They got close after the terror attacks. I think they started to go to counseling, and well, they've been married for 5 years. Poor guy. So he says, what? No, I don't want to hear anything again. And he says, you can go to your mom and dad or your family, but you cannot tell that you are here in the superhero program, that you are codename India. He said, do you promise? He says, yeah. So his family is here. They're very happy to see him. Also, his best friend and Gita, and he's feeling bad, because, what happened. And then he suddenly says, hey, man, that's okay. You're my best friend. We're always good. Wait, what? So, okay, let me go through this, and then we're going to talk about this, right? So, anyway, so it seems that the boss at the phone store called, and they still have a job for the hero of the mall. Not the superhero, but the hero, right? Because he saved a lot of people become, Swiss cheese for a moment. Anyway, So he is now, I don't know, assistant manager, which is also weird coming back. And then some people coming in, and he says, hey, we are on the behalf of superheroes Chung ex-husband. We don't have time to explain what we are aware. We've been sent by Jingsun to make you a proposition. This is a check for $100 million. If it's yours, if you tell us the secret of these powers you've been given. To be continued. All right, that leads on to this issue. Captain Britain? Probably. I don't know. Anyway, so first of all, listen. If you are really into a girl, you love her, right? And then you find out that your best friend is with your crush, also, I don't know, maybe married, and then having a baby, I'm probably not sure if you would be cool. Maybe you just forgive him because he's your best friend, but still, it must stings a lot, right? Seeing them up close with the baby, and then also the love of your life, probably. And he just says, no, we all good, dude. Nothing happened. So this all crying about this woman is probably, yeah, I mean, you didn't like her probably in the first place because you are very easily over her in a second because, hey, you're my best friend, so it's all good and dandy. It's really weird, right? Anyway, and then also, why are you becoming a assistant manager? I don't know, couldn't you ask Chung-hee, or what's her name is, from, the Korean superhero department there, or the on Antarctica, to give you, I don't know, maybe a suitable job for your, why are you becoming an assistant manager? Did you just go back to your family and live your life? How does that work? Right? Are there some agreements here that we don't know about? Anyway, so yeah, what do I think about this? I think it's a little bit meh. I mean, we only see this guy getting powers. I mean, he sacrificed himself, and that's all good and dandy, but his parents are still alive, right? He lost his so-called girlfriend that is never was his girlfriend, right? Got superpowers, got really famous, right? And then, yeah, that's basically it. There's no real danger, right? Except that, what happened in the last, it's not really a danger, but, it's just some good patting on the back. You're a good guy. You're a good man. And now you got powers. And now you're a superhero. Good job, man. And they also talk about the famous, the expected thing. It's not really woke, but, about representation. Oh, no, that's not here. Representation, right? That's here a lot. I mean, it's not really, I mean, I guess if you are having people from different countries, but it's laying a little bit on there, but I don't mind. But still, it's a very safe book. I mean, I know it's part of the overall plot, but it's not really exciting, right? For $4. I mean, yeah, some guy gets powers, getting congratulated all the time. Yeah, it's shitty that I mean, I like that they say it's 7 years ago, right? That he was 7 years some kind of a artificial coma. I mean, that sucks. But he just says, oh yeah, I got 7 years wasting my life here in some kind of a bed in Antarctica. But instead of being, I don't know, depressive or very upset, and he says, no, dude, it's all okay. Yeah, I don't buy that. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this comic. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.